Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to this week on Magnet Marketers, where our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. I'm one of your hosts here, Jessica Phillips with Now Marketing Group and the Relationship Marketing System, full service web design, social media, inbound marketing company, and my awesome co-host, Mike Gingrich with Digital Hill, co-founder of the popular app Tabsite, and Waftio, published author, speaker extraordinaire. I feel like I can go on and on.
Thank you.
But one thing you should know about Mike is that he believes in always being uncommon and always adding value.
Right.
I remembered the book this time.
There it is.
So this week, Mike, we are diving into an important topic, talking about 2017, the marketing checklist. I mean, we're winding down. I think I seen on Facebook yesterday, it was the post that there was like 8 more Saturdays or something until Christmas. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready to think about that yet.
Yep.
But 2017 is right around the corner. We're in fourth quarter now, and there are a few things that every marketer, business owner, entrepreneur needs to be thinking about as they get ready for 2017. So we created a checklist of items and want to go through some of those that we can talk about on what needs to be expected and kind of added to that to-do list, things to think about for next year's goals.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's now the time of the year which you should be if you're doing some fourth quarter planning, and a lot of times companies they're running on the calendar year for their budgets, so there may be a little bit of budget left that you want to get some things in before the end of the year, or you're waiting for next year's budget to start in January. Either way, you want to take assessment of what's going to help you be successful, as you start 2017. And that's what this is about, just taking a look at that from a, online marketing perspective.
Yeah, because the last thing that you want to do is wait until 2017. Yep. I mean, a lot of times companies are preparing their budget now, and you may need to adjust. Like, I love your saying, the adjustments made in halftime. I don't know that I think I'm going to mess up that saying, but it's, adjusting now before you go in and not just rinse and repeat, 2016.
Yep.
There's some things that may need to be tweaked, budgets, that may need to be allocated different. And that's the game plan that you want to go into.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So do you want to kick us off with number one?
Yeah. So I think as you're starting to prepare your goals and just overall idea for what you want to be doing in 2017, I've been trying to push this for 2016 too, but I think you need to focus on your number one sales and marketing person, and who that person is your website. Your website should be your home base, your main and primary focus for what you need to spend your time and your efforts into maintaining first and foremost, which the website sometimes can be overlooked because all these other shiny new things out there. But I think Vine, and I've seen a couple articles by Melanie Diesel and Carlos Gill and a few others that are talking about this. Vine just crashed, and all these creators that were not just crashed, but are shutting the doors because it wasn't profitable. And it's a good lesson, and like they shared in their articles, that if you're building your house on borrowed land, you don't own it. You don't own the content that's there. You can't carry sometimes you have a hard time carrying your networks over. So you really need to be focused on, first and foremost, before you do anything else, making sure your home base is strong, and your home base is your website. Yep. And that is your number one sales, marketing, PR, everything for your business. So definitely your website needs to be focused. And there's a few things that go into that as a high list priority, which is one, making sure it's responsive, which means it's mobile ready.
Right.
We've talked about this before, but Google, Bing, Yahoo, all of them are putting, restraints on search engine optimization if your site's not responsive and it's just not user friendly. So you don't want to lead in with a website that isn't giving the best user experience. So
think mobile
responsiveness. Think mobile first. If it's not responsive, it's time to get it responsive. And it's just time to make sure that, if you haven't looked at your website in a while, is it a good representation of who you are today? Businesses are continuing to evolve and change and grow. And it needs to be a good representation of who you are today, and giving you the best first experience, I guess, for your users that are coming to your site.
Right, right. Yeah, that's good. Now, I just want to expand upon a couple of things you said. So for our audience, Vine is the social media network owned by Twitter. It was the 6-second videos, and they just announced this past week that they're shutting it down. So that's it wasn't a core social media service. It wasn't like Twitter, it wasn't like Facebook, but it was one that a lot of people were using, and they basically said this isn't working for us, and so we're going to take it down. It was 6-second videos, so it was always tough just because it was so short in that regard. But your point is key, is that you can't concentrate on a social media network so much so that you neglect what can be your primary digital real estate, which is your website. So just agree with that wholeheartedly. And just to add to the mobile focus here, that Google came out in the last month with another change, and that is, and they haven't launched this yet, but I'm expecting it either late this year or early 2017, so which is right what we're talking about, that they're going to start indexing sites first from the mobile viewpoint. So everything is mobile there, because mobile traffic on the web now is more than desktop traffic. More people are using the web, looking up web pages on their mobile devices than on desktops. And it's so important for user experience on the go when you're on a mobile that search engines, Google, Yahoo, are really shifting this. It was in 2015 when they began to ding in search results. You got less ranking SEO wise if your site wasn't mobile responsive, and now they're saying, hey, we're even going to index them from a mobile user standpoint first. So, and that impacts those who had like a MDOT or had some type of site that number one had less content on the mobile version or something like that. So you need to be thinking through that, and
because there was a workaround. There was a workaround with those WordPress sites before, and I've seen a lot of people do this, where you would build a template or buy a template, fill in the blanks, and they're like, oh, don't worry, we can create you a mobile responsive site. You just add this plugin, or you just push this button, and it would give you that MDOT, and it was a very stripped down version of your website. It didn't look very well, and it just, it was trying to rig the system. And now that mobile traffic has surpassed desktop traffic, we're going there. We're searching with Siri. We're becoming, used to going to our phones to find any and all information that we need. So it makes sense that Google's making that move.
Yes. Yeah. So,
sorry.
No, I was gonna keep going. So you want to keep on that thought? Go for it.
Yeah. No, I think just to touch back on the website thing, and just with Vine in general, starting with that point. I mean, there were people like Zach King, those creative Vines that did use a social platform to build an audience, but they moved on. They were moving their audience with them.
Diversified.
And I think that's, exactly, diversified. But the key was growing your email list. So you also need to be looking at your website and using that as your home base, not as just a great, first impression of your business, but also, the content that's there that is driving traffic to your site, that's using your search engine optimization, but then also, using your website to grow your email list. And there's some things that you can do to increase that we'll talk about. But that's the key to being able to, move your audience with you, is, adding value where you're at, but also owning your list. Your email list.
Okay, I want to flush that out further, because you know that I love social media lead generation. Okay, and my standpoint is that social media lead generation is not just about social media, but it's about your website and your content as well, and you got to bring those together. So as you look at 2017, I've heard in 2016 that a lot of people, one of the things they struggle with is enough content, or what is the right content? What do I share in social media? And I want to take that back a step further and say, one of the big things that you're going to share on social media is content, that quality, great content resources that you have produced on your website. Okay, so you got to take it back to that. So if you're looking at 2017 and you're thinking about social media lead generation, you want to have quality things to share from your site that you can share in social media. We'll talk about how to do that well, but so that you can bring them back to your website where you have offers, signups, soft lead capture to get on your email list. So breaking that down, start with your content. What do you need to do to ramp up some quality, resource-rich content in 2017? And obviously we're seeing the value in a resource center blog, which is more than just your products or your services, but it's about how-tos, it's about resourcing, equipping, offering value in those. And it's going to be some text content there, but you might mix in. There might be a embedded video in there as well. There's definitely going to be some images that you can share in social media, but planning that out. And there's always, hey, what's the minimum that somebody always talks about, and finding ways to get that content. I mean, maybe you need to be, thinking through, how can I do this in an efficient manner? So, do I need to be, number one, thinking of topics that I can create on? How can I do that efficiently? Do I need to interview someone in the office, interview someone using our product? Is that a fast way? Do I need to,
collaborate with others?
Collaborate. Do I need to block out a time where I'm going to write one blog post, resource rich, a week? Do I need to contract that out and find, someone that can really understand our voice, our business, and help with those types of things to generate some pieces that we fine tune and get published? But good resource rich content is going to be important, and getting a plan for that. What's going to be your plan on a monthly basis so that you have some great things to share, and that type of thing.
Absolutely. And Christian's joining us, and he used that example that they plan out their content with a content calendar. Highly recommended. And you can create that calendar based on things that your clients are asking you, questions, that are coming in, or topics that you hear buzzing, in the industry, or maybe it's just coming up in conversation between you and some peers, and you're like, you know what, that's a great point. I don't think I've seen anything written on that, so let's write that out. But my favorite way is collaboration, collaborating with others, asking, other people in this space their points and their feedback on an answer to a question, and pulling it all together, because then you're going to have, multiple levels of content created from that source, and then a lot of people that can share it out, because they're all, featured in it. They're going to share it out, which is going to, again, drive traffic back to your website. Your website, with building this content, it's an ever-growing machine. We call this growth-driven design, where it means your website's not really ever done. It's evolving. So if you think about it in that sense, with both your content and your site as a whole, like if you're developing a resource center, make stages maybe in your website of goals, so you don't have to wait till that next big rebuild 3 years down the road or whatever it is. Plan phases of growth stages with both your content and also your website. Plan out your goals just like for your site, just like you would your content, to keep it evolving.
Yes. Yes. So you've got some great content, and you've heard Jessica say we want to get them over to your website ultimately, then, where we have some type of email sign up, and we'll talk about that. But let's just talk about getting it out there then. Just because you publish great content doesn't mean that you're done then. That's where your social can kick in. And as we've seen, social media has shifted in 2016, and there's a need for more creativity, more visuals, media in your social media, which means video and images are important, and even live video, kind of like what we're doing here on Magnet Marketer's page. So you want to think about new ways to introduce your content. And so that has to be in your planning. Do I need to purchase some simple items, a mobile phone, tripod, a video editing app for my phone, some of those types of fairly low budget things that for under $50, you can get that tripod, and you can get a video editing app for your smartphone that allows you to quickly do a video where you're introducing the the blog post, the new content, do a quick edit on that, so the front and the back, and you can, put a URL, introduction, text, subtitles there a little bit, and then you can publish that out. And so on share that on Facebook, on Twitter, that type of thing, where your audience is. And so that's a way that is connecting with people today. They're doing less with text posts for sure. Images are capturing attention, but video is capturing even more attention. And so you want to amplify the content that you've created, and that's your work to be making sure your audience is aware of that. It can't just be once and done, because people might not be on at all those times. They have to come, so you need to be thinking about a social media sharing strategy that shares it out, multiple times, different time periods when they're most likely to be online on the key networks where they are online, and using the tools that they're most likely to be responsive to, such as video and images.
Yeah, I like Christian's point on this. Once you create your post, it's like 10% of the progress bar.
Tough, man.
But I'm going to use an example, if this is okay, with one of our clients, Dr. John Bennett. I know that you've met him before, yes. But with his work, so Body Works Wellness, they're spreading the message of eat well, move well, think well. And so we started thinking about how we could use this for video, and, they were committed to video. They actually created a space and bought the equipment. Another thing is, thinking of the space, make a dedicated space, because then it's going to be a part of your commitment. But what they started doing is they started with the Eat Well, and they started interviewing people within their community to Eat Healthy Morgantown is the hashtag. And they started doing interviews with local restaurants and individuals that were all sharing in this mission of eat healthy and explaining what it meant from their viewpoint. So they shot the video with their phone. We created the actual intros with Canva and then built the video together, added some music to it.
Canva.com.
So each new episode, Canva.com, where you can create your designs there, created that intro. They're releasing this video each week, a sneak peek on Fridays. Then Monday, all their email subscribers that have signed up to receive the video early, right, which is a way of getting more emails in, they send the full episode out to them on Mondays and then publish it to the community on Tuesday, along with putting a blog post out, YouTube, and an Instagram post. So it is spreading the message. It's tagging another business in it. And this has been huge to start driving more traffic to their page, growing their email subscribers, and overall, having an engaging conversation with their community.
Yep. And what I just heard there was they systematized that plan. And I mean, you guys help them do that, but that's what a business needs to do, is they think about 2017. What are you gonna need to do to create a system for, sharing that content, for a plan for getting the content, creating it, and sharing it?
Exactly. And in a new and engaging way. So some of this may be auditing, you're not saying that you have to add more onto your plate, but it may be auditing what you're currently doing. Take a look at, what you've done for 2016. What platforms have, done well for you? Right. What platforms maybe should be tweaked or added on? Audit, like what you've done in 2016, and take a peek at what should be your game plan for 2017 and create a system. Yes, yep. Definitely, to get it out there.
And when you audit the types of posts you've been putting out, because you go and take a look at that. If you've been tweeting mostly text posts, if you've been Facebook posts mostly text or links, those are getting the least engagement and the least reach on Facebook in particular. And so it's time to be thinking about how you can change that and mix that up, plan for that.
Yeah, and a mix of real time with the scheduled stuff, and that real time does a lot. And because when you're scheduling, I've noticed, a lot of people schedule in the morning, where we're seeing, just from our insights, a lot of traffic for many brands is in the evening, like late into the evening. So play around with the times that you're posting too. Just a little tweak like that, just the time of day that you're posting your content can make a big difference. Matter of fact, I put one out at midnight last night for Bodyworks Wellness, and that was one of the best ones that worked for them for engagement so far. Who would have thought?
Interesting, but you're seeing that people are winding down with social media, and so that's important to realize that social is not going to be necessarily the final selling point, but it's the brand building, it's the awareness, it's the getting them to, connect with you, build a little trust, build a little rapport, get them over to your website. And a lot of people are doing that, even B2B, that's happening outside those hours as people are perusing social media or even dual screening. Maybe they're watching the World Series, the football game, but they're on their device as well.
Yeah, and Christian commented that, they notice a lot of traffic, in the evenings as well, and the least amount of traffic in the mornings because people are thinking about getting to work, traffic, etc. Yeah, I mean, look at your time of day. What works for you guys? I want to put the question out there. If you're noticing a trend with time of day that you're posting with your engagement or the kinds of content that's really working for you, leave a comment for us. Let us know. I'd like to see some examples.
Quick tip again, that for Facebook admins, I mean, you go to your page and you go to the insights on your page. And, one of those insights will tell you that when your audience is online the most, and then per post, you can begin to see, see trends, because it'll tell you the reach. Obviously, you can see the engagement, the likes, comments, shares, all that type of thing per post. And then you can begin to drill down deeper into that. And that link is facebook.com/insights to go to that for your page.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so now we talked about some content. We talked about the types of social media sharing. And again, some of that goal is engagement right on social media, but some of that traffic we want to bring them over to the website. And we talked about then we need to have some type of lead capture. You want to audit what you're doing with lead capture on your website to grow your email list. And Jessica, you want to dive into that a little bit more, give some tips there?
Yeah, so your lead capture definitely should, just like your social, should have that strategic approach. I mean, you're trying to drive them into maybe it starts with a blog post that you're giving value, you're adding value before you're expecting anything from them. But then you're saying, hey, if you like this content that I'm giving you, you're going to love this next piece that I've really put a lot of care and thought into. I mean, just like your book, Mike, if you want to share the link to, your 2017 marketing plan, it is, a guide that we're going to give you, quality information for your name and email address. Okay, so then you're giving a piece of deeper dived content, still not, sales pitchy, but just offering value in exchange for your name and email address. This is going to help convert your leads, to finding out who's marketing qualified, who's really interested in your product or service. And from there, now you're able to start putting them into some kind of drip campaign where you're gradually, giving them other items of value and then offering, more deep dive type content where they can provide, maybe they've already given you your name and email address. So now you're asking, what is their biggest marketing challenge, for example, or, what is their company name? What are their goals? And you ask a couple new questions to give them another piece of content. All the while you're progressively profiling the people that are on your website and getting to know them a lot more so you can build a relationship with them. And you're helping do the sales process all along the while. So if they're not ready to buy yet, or maybe they're wanting to learn more about why your business can solve their problems better than someone else, you're starting this conversation with them digitally. You're building this relationship with them digitally. They're getting to know, like, and trust you. Yep. I know that term is used again and again, but that honestly is what it is.
It's huge.
Know, like, and trust. Yeah. And it's building this relationship. And when they're ready to buy, they're going to have you top of mind. They've already got this, connection with you because they felt the value that you've given. So it's going to be easier for you to be the winner when they're comparing you against another company that's, can solve their problems. They're seeing the value in what you offer.
Yep. Now let's just talk about that lead capture again. So you want something that is now the sidebars don't work as well on your website. So that was kind of a thing where people you come to a website and maybe on the side it says sign up for something. That should not be your only means. Like that must be it can be there as a residual, as a helpful piece, but it should not be your primary means. And so there needs to be something else, typically something that is that comes in front of them, that is a pop-up. Now there's questions about that, because Google's making some changes. They want to, in early 2017, implement something where they're going to hurt sites that totally block content, particularly on the mobile devices. Okay, so you want to be aware of that. A lot of these news sites, when you go to, how is it, is it Wall Street Journal or New York Times? You know, those type of things where it comes in and it says, and you might get the first 2 paragraphs, then it says, hey, you got to click here if you want to continue on. They're not liking those. But what we're talking about is something that can kind of flow up in the middle, and that is mobile friendly. It's not that you can, people could click out if they want to, but it gets in front of them and offers something of value in exchange for them signing up for the email address. You know, a great free resource, and it has to be something of value so that they're motivated. Now, if you're B2C, business to consumer, then, you know, maybe it's going to be a coupon code or discount code, something like that. In the B2B realm, you know, it might be some type of free resource. That's what my 2017 checklist is. I mean, it's just out there. Here's a free resource, and we're going to, and you know, by doing this, you're going to subscribe to our weekly email where we continue to share resources like this. So, trying to offer something of value, and that they're motivated to join your list, and then, you know, through that ongoing, you have a chance to build some further rapport, trust, know, like, and trust relationship.
Yeah. Another spot that you can put a call to action is at the end of like your blog post.
Yep, absolutely.
Or within, you know, your social media content shares, you know, use it sporadically. Just like you said, the pop-ups can be great if it's done right. Like you said, Mike, and I know you guys have a tool for that, Waftio. But it's all about the user experience. I mean, I'll give you a good example. It was last night. I was honestly looking to sign up for this conference, and I went to their website. I clicked from a social post. I went to their website, and it popped up, hey, would you like to be subscribed for an email list? Absolutely. Put my information in. Then what happened? You know, I had to go take care of kids. So I went, took care of kids, came back to finish signing up for this conference, and what popped up again? Before I could get to sign up for the conference, to sign up for my, you know, putting my name and email address in there. Well, I already did, but I couldn't close that box in front of me. And so I tried putting my name in. It said I was already subscribed. The box would not close. So I ended up just not even signing up for the conference. I mean, it's like $1,200. I could have signed up, but I was so frustrated.
They were losers right there. They lost. Yeah.
Forget it. You know, I'm just like, what can you teach me about this subject when you're not doing it on your site? You know, like, so user experience. It can turn somebody that's really, really excited about doing something completely off just because you have it tested and tried, and, you know, the user experience on your site. It can completely turn people off, and that's what happened with me.
Yep.
You want to make sure you test, and that's part of your auditing process too. Testing your site and responsiveness, user experience, making sure everything's easy to find. You know, thinking like you know, your consumer, like how Brian Fanzo says this a lot. Think like a fan. You know, think like a fan, think like a consumer, think like your customer. What are they wanting to find, and what kind of experience are they wanting to have on your site? That really changes your mindset, because you want to simplify it, make it easy to do business with you.
Seamless, integrated, quick, efficient. You know, people are busy, so how can you walk them through smoothly? Think of that flow is important.
Yeah, couple clicks and done. Whatever they need to do. Yeah. Just a couple other tips on 2017 as we're auditing and thinking about budget is social media right now in general. I mean, we've heard this and it's here, but you do need to mix in some kind of social media ad budget to what you're doing with your content. Okay. You have to think about, you know, Facebook or Instagram ads, LinkedIn, whatever that's going to be for you, but you have to give some kind of ad budget to boost the content that you want seen. It's not saying you have to give it a boost to everything, but you have to look at a social media ad budget and already know what that's going to be before you go into 2017. Because you need it.
Yeah. So at the base level, you know, you can think about, let's just run through our scenario. So you created a great piece of content on your blog, okay, and you've shared that via a video on Facebook. All right. So you might want to, at the simplest level, you might want to boost that video after it's run for a day and expand that so that you want to reach your fan base, or do you want to reach, people like your fan base or people who visit your website? Those are some things that you can begin getting into, but you could boost that to are you aiming for people regionally, or are you aiming for, certain people in a certain demographic, and you can get some targeting in on that, and then you can boost that. I mean, as much as $1 a day can really help you get in front of more of the right types of audience. So it's one of the realities that you need to use for a platform like Facebook, but it's also one of the benefits as well, because you can get in front of your ideal audience. You can drill down. So you're a photographer focusing on family pictures, or maybe it's young infant pictures, that type of thing. You can get in front of those parents, that young age demographic. If you're a photographer that's regional, so you can target that in a regional area, all those kinds of things to narrow down to be in front of that audience. And therefore you're not, it's not a waste of money, because it's attracting the exact target audience that is your customer base.
Yeah, I was trying to get one to come up here. I'm looking. I'll tell you a couple that are really working for me for ads.
Okay.
So the boosting definitely can help. That gets visibility. But even think, yeah, that's a really great starting point. And another one that's really, really working, and I'll see if I can't get it to come up here, but is taking and using Power Editor or one of your tools to create an actual ad for like your call to action that you want downloaded, and you can use some remarketing with it, like you said, people that have visited your website, attracting them, but keeping them on Facebook after the fact. So Facebook has incorporated something called Canvas and lead forms. So you can actually have the full conversion process, even though you're collecting their information, stay within Facebook. And there's some really cool creative things that you can do with it. I'll give you an example for one of our customers. They sell water purification systems. And what we did is targeted a lookalike audience. We took a list of their customers that purchased from them within the past 120 days and created what's called a lookalike audience that says, hey, Facebook, find more people like this, and then also people that have visited, this website page, and target them on Facebook for a free water analysis. We created a video that with captions that would scroll through, and then it has like a little call to action button at the end of that video where you could push it. It took them to fill out for their free water analysis right within Facebook, so they could fill out the form there and then get the thank you message right there, all on Facebook, without them needing to leave Facebook to go to the website.
Yep.
But you're still collecting the information, and you're still getting that lead, and you're still able to, keep them in communication with the drip campaign, but it's keeping them within Facebook. So that's one of the ads that are really, really working for us. The other is lead quizzes. So if you really want to find out something about your audience, you can create what's called lead quizzes on leadquizzes.com, where you can ask a few questions. I'll use Bodyworks Wellness again as an example, just because it's fresh in my mind. But they did a toxicity quiz, find out how toxic your body is. And they did a few questions and then gave the score back to the person. So they didn't ask, for their information to give them an email drip campaign, but they were giving them a quiz, something of value that then said, hey, you can contact us after that. And people love those quizzes and that engaging style on Facebook. So think above and beyond the boost, and think of all the other ways that you can use Facebook, but definitely start with some kind of ad budget if you haven't already.
Yep.
And I think we're only going to see more and more creative ways of using Facebook ads in particular, especially as they integrate with Instagram.
Yes, I'm bullish on Facebook ads. I think that's in terms of social media networks, it's kind of the premier leader. And
yeah.
Just related to this, I mean, there's a Facebook ads app again, so you can kind of easily manage some things on the go on your mobile device. And again, it's a broader conversation here, but you should have these apps on your smartphone just to make sure you can monitor your social media along the way. You know, the Facebook Pages app, you might want one for Twitter or dashboard for Twitter. The Facebook Ads app, you know, they're just giving you these free apps, and it's helpful for you to quickly, you know, review, turn on, turn off, respond, all those types of things. You need to be fluid in your social media in 2017. So, you know, audit your apps as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll have to talk about that within the the coming weeks
Like
on
another,
apps I would recommend.
topic, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's so many out there that are just great though. I mean, so helpful.
Apps that we
For
use
sure.
on our smartphones. That's a topic coming out, folks, right there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I get asked that a lot. Like, which apps do you recommend? I'm like, okay, like let me just screenshot this for you because they literally are in my life. My husband's like, how can you do all that on your phone? And I'm like, it's easy, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I live there with the apps. So if you guys have an app that you use on your smartphone that really helps you manage your marketing, we want to hear from you. Comment below, like what is your favorite app that you're really using to enhance your social media, your content, or even just monitoring your social media profiles. Let us know what your favorites are out there.
Excellent, yeah.
So Mike, we walked everyone through definitely the website, just to, you know, recap some of the things we talked about, you know, making sure your site's responsive, checking your content, and, you know, ensuring that it's conversational and your search engine optimization is working. You know, have a growth driven design strategy. So phases that you want to continue to evolve your website and not waiting until that next big build, that you're, you know, not building your house on borrowed land, that you have, you know, your home in order, which is your business website, and that you're trying to collect email addresses and to build that relationship with others by offering value content. You're reviewing your social media platforms, auditing which ones are working for you, which aren't. Your strategy overall, you're focusing on quality, consistent content.
Yep.
Blogging. One thing we didn't talk about, Mike, but what is your recommendation on blogging consistency?
Yeah, I think that you have to stay in front of people. So I like to tell small businesses that you need to be thinking about at least once a week getting fresh content out there. So that's just kind of like a baseline starting point that I recommend. If you can get up to twice, I think that's, you know, obviously it's double, and that's tremendously helpful. Just gives you more great content to share online, so that can help you with your social. So that's my starting point. You want to comment on that?
No, I think that's perfect. I'm right along with you. At least once a week, you know, and you can do it in creative ways, video, you know, blogs, whatever you're doing, but just to have that continuous conversation with your audience by offering value online. Focus on edutainment, you know, education, but with an entertaining, you know, twist. And maybe that is, you know, adding video to your mix, or maybe it's images, whatever that is, just to create that difference, you know, so it's not just text based, but it's it could be a mix of audio, video, visual, images, whatever that is, but make sure that it's information, but it's also entertaining or educational, you know, edutainment, excuse me. Ensure you have an ad budget with your social. Think about how you can incorporate video into your marketing mix, whether that's live video, whether it's recorded just from your smartphone, but it's an easy way. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but video is proven to be working, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon, especially with our conversation with Kathy on virtual reality and all that's to come. Videos here.
Yep.
And then audit. Use Google Analytics, Facebook, you know, and the social media platforms all have, you know, your insights right within that platform where you can audit and see what's working, what's not.
Yep.
What would you add to that, Mike?
No, I was just going to say for your Facebook ad budget there. Okay, so what's the ROI on that? Okay, so you should be trying to flow that through. Are you reaching more of the right audience that you can get them to your website? And it's not just about getting them to your website then, but can you increase your percentage to get to your email list? Okay, so if you can increase your email list, then you should be able to increase your lead nurture, which should increase your sales. So there's a process there, and you need to bring those things together. And so just want to put that out there. That's, what's the return on your Facebook ad budget? Well, ultimately, you want to see some increase in sales, but you need to track that back through a number of channels then to say, am I getting more website traffic, and am I getting more leads captured, and are people opening my emails, my lead nurture, which ultimately leads to more sales? That can all flow through to, is that ad budget effective?
Yes. Absolutely.
If I have to put in a little shameless plug here, I'm releasing. I've been on a roll here. I'm releasing book number 2, and it's going to be launched in November. Game Plan for Social Media Lead Generation. So watch for it. That's my book coming out.
Yay! Woo. So if I had to summarize in 3 words, I will say for me, for your 2017 marketing plan, what you should be focusing on is experience. It's the experience that your users are going to have and your consumers, that you're going to have with your brand. So experience, collaboration, and strategy. I would say that's the 3 words that I would use to kind of summarize for 2017. Experience, collaboration with others, and overall strategy. What would you say?
Yep. No, I like that. And again here, so if take a look, you've got some time yet. It's just beginning of November here, and the end of the year is coming. But take some time before you get too busy before the end of the year. What do you need to do? We've given you some links here to the checklist, the other items. Hopefully we'll give you some tools to evaluate so you can plan ahead and make some decisions on what you're going to need to do to up that game 2017. Absolutely.
And I encourage you, get your team involved with this. Let them plan. Chances are they're engaging, with your audience all the time. So, get them involved with it. Make it a team effort, and then you'll get that team backing for 2017 and get all parties involved, because it is a team thing for social and marketing as a whole.
Excellent.
So, all right, Mike. Well, I thank you for joining me today. And for Magnet Marketers, our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. I thank all of you for watching and joining in. Love the comments from all of you. Love the shares. Thank you all so much for your support. We welcome you back next week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be diving in. It sounds like we're going to be talking about some apps for your phone that you should be thinking about. So we'll target that for next Tuesday, 4 p.m., and we hope to see you there. Thanks again, Mike, for joining.
Great. Have a good week, guys.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great week.